Hi guys, so while we're on this food theme, I've talked about kumquats in my previous vlog. I want to talk a little bit about chickpeas today. So I've got a can of chickpeas. I think they're very versatile foods, and just canned chickpeas works in most recipes. So I love a chickpea. I love the texture of a chickpea. You also pop it in your mouth. There's a hardness to it. And then depending on in what dishes you've tried or used them, they're obviously very much used when we make hummus. There's a different in texture, and there's a where's my words today? Texture variation when you eat chickpeas. And I want to explain to you a little bit why some people love it, some people hate it. I love it. The rest of my family in my house hate them. They don't like the texture. So the brain is different for all of us. And when we put a food texture or taste, but let's talk about texture for today. If you put a food texture in your mouth, there's a message that your receptors in your tongue are sending through to your brain to say, what is this? Do we need to recognize this? As the texture keep on changing, your brain keeps on sending more messages to make sense of what is in your mouth. And that means there's an increase in sensory messages through the neural pathways in the brain that happens. And that often becomes overstimulatory. And people with sensitivity for textures would often opt not to eat any type of textured food. We experience it very similarly for yogurt with pieces or anything where there's a variety of textures in the type of food that we eat. That's around the tactile system. There's touch receptors and taste receptors in the mouth, and the texture often is a bother for people who are particularly sensory sensitive. So it's amazing to see that we are also individually different, and our different threshold type will mean what foods do we love, what food do we hate. And food is not just taste, it's also smell, and it's also texture, which relates to the touch system. So for those of you who hate chickpeas or any texture type of a food, there's a sensory reason to it. You most probably have got low threshold for touch and particularly taste or smell in your mouth, which means you don't necessarily like the chickpea thing, or it could be various others as well. But just a nice way to explain our differences. What food do we love? What food do we hate? What food do we go for? What food do we avoid? There's an absolutely a sensory reason to it, and it makes us all so unique and so different. So happy hummus, happy chickpeas for those of you who love it, and for those of you who don't, then opt and eat what you feel comfortable with. I always say choose our battles, and food is the one that we don't want to have issues with as adults. I know with kids often it's a big thing for parents, so we'll do another blog on a little bit of tips and tools on how to help parents get their children used to different types of food, because for children it is important that they go through those exploration experiences. That's all for today, guys. Happy eating, and until next time, cheers for now.